Here is a Lasko 16-inch oscillating stand fan model 2526. This was manufactured in 2002 or 2003. Now, this fan I bought it for $10 for the Facebook Marketplace a couple of months ago. And it's the same fan that I made a train video on. If you guys haven't checked it out, please do. Otherwise, I will link that video in the description. But anyways, um, I bought this fan because this version in specific is not easy to come across with. Because as you know, Lasko only made this for a year before making a different version with a different badge. The color will be slightly different. So therefore, that's the reason why I got it. Now, it's a very good shape. I'll give it that from top to bottom, but there are signs of wear that are starting to show on some parts of the fan, especially the tighten adjustment for the height and that small bracket where the fan sits on the stand poles. So let me show you, just so you guys could see. But yeah, there is a crack here, and it's pretty much halfway at this point. So I'm hoping that this doesn't break, because this piece is a completely different size to the modern Laskos. At this time, Lasko was using thicker poles, and there's some cracking going on here as well. There's one right there. There's this huge crack right here, and I think there's another one on this side. Yeah, right there. So this piece is cracking. So this entire assembly might need to be replaced later on, but for now it's still holding up, which is quite good. Now, this neck bracket is not original. The original one, I had to replace it because the oscillator broke from right at this spot, and therefore it made the fan not able to oscillate properly. So I had to replace that part. And apart from that, the power cord also got replaced. So this is from another Lasko fan in the early 90s version that I had to pretty much do some modifying to it, because this doesn't have that stud like most Lasko power cords have. Now, other than that, I changed the motor shells on this because there were some issues in the original gearbox. So in order to replace that gearbox, I had to replace the motor shells entirely. And the fan actually performs a lot better with these newer motor shells, especially when considering spin down timing. So just to show you, I will show you in a bit, but here is the badge that was used at the time. This sticker fell off at some point. Well, it actually fell off while I was bringing it home, so I had to super glue it, and you can kind of tell that the glue is there. But this fan did see a lot of use. It was pretty much here in the kitchen this entire time, and it is very effective, despite the guards being a bit restrictive in my opinion. So let's turn on the fan on the high. Now, because of the design of the back row, it makes that whizzing sound that you hear. So I rather prefer the radial fan guard design compared to this one here. But performance is actually flawless, just like the older models. Because compared to nowadays, Lasko now uses weaker motors for this specific blade set, and they don't make this blade set the same anymore. Medium. But yeah, with most of these fans, I kind of noticed there's no difference in speed change, because the medium is pretty much close to the high. Yeah. I don't know what's up with these motors, but yeah, that's apparently the case with these fans. Now have a look. And even on low power, this thing is pretty strong. So these Lasko fans from the early 2000s, they pretty much outperformed whatever fan was on the market at the time, which is insanely good. All right, now to engage the oscillator. So the motor shells that this fan has is from another Lasko fan. I think it's a 18-inch remote control fan from one of the recent years, because it does not have the motor shells like the versions from the 2010s. But these motor shells are very good, nonetheless, and they're actually compatible with the gearbox that I placed in here. Because when I was running the fan with the original gearbox, um, it made a lot of clicking sounds, and the bearings ran a bit stiffer. That is really amazing performance. And just like that Holmes fan, you could actually tilt this all the way to the back. Yeah, that's as far back as it could tilt. I don't know. So this is pretty much, in case you don't want to use the oscillation, you could pretty much tilt it all the way to the back and use this fan as a whole house fan in some way, I assume. But yeah, it's a shame that Lasko only made like a couple of hundred of these fans, because this design is actually a lot more attractive compared to that other design that would come out in 2004 with the circular Lasko badge with the Performance Series label and the darker shade color scheme that they would use, which would be a light gray, I think. Shut it off. And of course, the fan has an amazing spin down timing with these newer motor shells. So it's going to take a bit for it to coast down. But there you have it. That is the 2002 to 2003 Lasko 16-inch stand fan, model 2526.